Welcome to the Brew Crew Review Podcast, the show by fans for fans of your Milwaukee Brewers.
All right, welcome back, Brewer fans and fans of the Brew Crew Review. The 2021 season is just about upon us. The Brewers are making their final roster moves, and we're here to talk about them. My good friends Vince and Scott. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We have is Chad on? Is Chad on tonight or no?
I think he's helping get children.
Keep an eye on the
vaccinated or
waiting
something.
room here on the Zoom thing. He's usually stuck in there for a little bit.
Yeah, the interns will handle that. But okay.
All right, so as the spring training run is winding down here, the regular season is almost upon us. It's pretty exciting stuff. I guess not all the final roster moves are official yet, but we'll talk about some of the guys that surprisingly did make the team, and some of them who got sent to the minors, and some of them went to the IL. We'll talk about all that. But let's actually start off by a little piece of rotation news. Freddie Peralta has been named to the rotation, and surprisingly, Josh Lindblom has been sent to the bullpen over Adrian Hauser. What are your guys' overall thoughts on all those moves, those three moves?
Well, not only that, Craig, but it looks like Council said that Hauser is going to be our 3 starter this year. So he's going to line up third in that rotation behind Brandon Woodruff and Corbin Burns. Interesting. I didn't expect that. I thought that Hauser had a chance to make the rotation, but certainly didn't expect him to be named the number 3 starter. I mean, part of that is just semantics. You've got 5 pitchers who start games for you as a team, but interesting that he's going to take the ball every 3 days or every third time through the rotation, I guess. I'm really glad, though, and excited about Freddie Peralta. We've talked a lot on this podcast about Peralta's skill set and his talent level, and I think that he really does deserve a chance to start. He still is a young guy. I think that he's got a ton of upside, and I think that it'll be really exciting to see what he can do here in a full season, hopefully, in the rotation in 2021.
Scott?
Yeah, I guess when you look between Hauser and Lindblom especially, Hauser has more upside. Hasn't necessarily shown it yet, just maybe a couple of flashes here and there. But he's obviously younger. It's a good opportunity for him to see what he has. And it doesn't mean these are set in stone. I mean, obviously that's what we're going out as now, but who knows what's in store. Peralta, good opportunity for him, obviously. I know Craig is a huge Freddie Peralta fan, and I know, so I don't want to steal too much of that, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, other than that, not really any big surprises. I mean, we got through spring relatively healthy, so it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
No, that's exciting. But Craig's also a big fan of Anderson as well, and Anderson is still the 4 starter, I guess, ahead of Peralta. So it'll be interesting. But Freddie it seems like he's been working on a new pitch, right, Scott? Is that accurate?
I don't know.
He's actually
I like 4 of them.
He used to be called fastball Freddie, but I think we're going to change it to 4-pitch Freddie. We're not sure what 4 pitches they are, but we think he has at least 4.
I'm sure the Brewers lab is doing a number of things. If we had press passes again, Craig, we could have found that out. But just FYI.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but I mean, if you look at Peralta's numbers throughout the spring, I mean, and even last year he was phenomenal in the bullpen, striking out 12 batters per 9 innings or something like that. And he's kind of kept that same rate through spring training, and he's really limited the hard contact and all that stuff. So it's pretty exciting. They've been kind of messing with him back and forth, and he signed that kind of team-friendly contract extension with us, I think a year and a half ago or so. And, he'd been valuable wherever we use him. But I really think he has a chance to shine in the rotation, and hopefully he gets a long leash there and he succeeds. And I really think he's set to break out this year. It wasn't totally. It was a little bit surprising to me that Lindblom, when he signed that 3-year deal, come over from Korea, I think that he had an opportunity to sign with a couple other teams. I think the Brewers may have kind of like promised him some rotation opportunities, and he did have that, but last year, but it was in obviously a COVID shortened season. So he's probably a little bit disappointed going to the pen, but he has most of his other major league work prior to going over the career was in the bullpen, and so I think he can do fine there, especially as a long man, swing man, and rotation depth. So I like that move actually over Hauser, and Hauser with some more opportunity in the rotation, even though he did struggle there last year. He does a kind of a really good ground ball pitcher, so I think the added defense up the middle with even Jackie Bradley and obviously Colton Wong at second baseman is really going to help a guy like Hauser. He was kind of the victim of the long ball a little bit last year, and not only that, but he really gets murdered by lefties. So hopefully he gets to face some right-handed static lineups. But overall, I think he can be adequate, definitely in the rotation. But like you guys mentioned, I really am the most excited about Peralta beyond our top two guys. So I don't know. I'm pretty more optimistic about a rotation than we're thinking we'd sign someone more decent than Brett Anderson during the offseason. But if he's going to be a fourth or fifth starter, I think he's serviceable there. Especially knowing.
Craig, that's the nicest thing about Anderson that you've ever said. But I do want to.
That was sweet.
Yeah, that was awesome.
We got it on tape too.
Serviceable.
I know. Well, I know in pre-production you love them.
Future episodes.
I also one time told Scott he was serviceable too. So I mean, yeah.
Hey, so Craig, serious question now. Talking about Peralta, where do you think he's going to end up? Obviously he's a younger guy, but where do you think his ceiling really is? When you're talking about Woodruff and Burns, you're talking about guys who have now had a decent amount of success in the big leagues, and I think that especially for a guy like Corbin that's continuing to build. But where do you think that Freddie could end up?
I think he has a pretty high ceiling
compared to those two guys.
Personally, I think he has, I guess I'll just throw out there, and I don't know, this doesn't mean too much, but like a number 2 starter ceiling. Maybe not like a true elite ace or anything, but I really do think, a guy he kind of reminds me of maybe when he was successful in the rotation for the Cardinals is Carlos Martinez, and he's been bopping around between the rotation and two. But he was almost at our all-star level when he was a starter for a couple of seasons. So I think he could be that, and who knows how long of a career he can have or anything. But I really think he can figure it out, and he really has some great swing and miss stuff. So definitely excited that he'd be given the opportunity going in this season. So let's see what else. Well, Devin Williams finally got healthy and got into some spring action, so that's pretty exciting because I think everyone wants to see what he's going to do to follow up his awesome Rookie of the Year and Reliever of the Year season in a very shortened 2020 year, but still, nonetheless, what a phenomenal back of the bullpen arm we have there. Obviously, Josh Hader's still on the team, so pretty excited. And obviously, adding guys like Wong and Jackie Bradley really make this a lot better than it was last year. I think that they left a couple of question marks on the left side of the infield in particular, but I think they're really banking on Louis Urias to do something and possibly secure the starting shortstop role.
I don't know.
Right from the
get-go. Craig. I totally disagree. I think that the team is really looking at Arcia as being our starting shortstop, and that Urias is going to be a kind of a backup infielder, a guy who can rotate to a few different positions. I don't know. It just seems like that was certainly what I took from Craig Counsell's comments, and I know that our colleague Tom Hungercourt misses a lot of stories, but I know that he had interviewed Craig about this just in the last couple of days as well.
Like a Bill Howell super sub? Is that what we're saying?
Well, I'm just saying that he's a guy that really hasn't solidified his role as a starter yet. He had actually kind of a rough spring training, and I don't think the spring training stats matter at all, to be honest. But it just seems like Arcia coming off, again, not a great season in 2020, but the best offensive year of any Brewers player in 2020. It's kind of earned that right to start the year at shortstop, and I think that he's going to get the starting nod and that Urias is going to be the backup infielder.
That could be to start off the year, but I do think I'd be willing to place pretty good money that by the All-Star break, Urias will be the starting shortstop. But there's more factoring into that statement. Obviously, if Shaw falls on his face, he could also become a starter at third. I guess my main point is they want to get him a ton of at bats this year somewhere, starting at bats, basically, somewhere just because they want to know what they have in him. Obviously, they gave up quite a bit to get him out. So I think they really believed in him before they made that acquisition and envisioned him as a shortstop of the future. So whether or not, that time is now or not, I don't know. But I do think I think there was some danger halfway through spring training that he may not have even made the 26-man opening day roster, to be quite honest with you, and maybe got the first couple of weeks or whatnot down at AAA to get his feeding under him, but he did return finally and get some good at bats in the last couple of weeks here of spring training. So I think it's already been decided he will, head north with the team, so to speak. But we'll see. Yeah, like you said, Orlando, I think, has earned that right to start off the year as starting shortstop, but we'll see. I think that between third and short, between those three players, there'll be a hefty amount of at bats, and I'd be willing to bet that over the course of the season, Orlando gets way more at bats than like Travis Shaw overall. But I mean, we'll see. I guess it should be interesting. But it's to have both those positions a little bit unsettled, but with some depth is I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but we shall see.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Actually, I guess we should at least mention Jordan Zimmerman did not make the team. Wisconsin native got a shot. Hopefully, he was a good influence in the
I believe
while he was there.
Re-sign a minor league deal with us.
He did?
Got sent back to
just
AAA.
They.
So.
Scott, didn't you get the?
Wow.
Aren't you on that group text with our anonymous source, Tom Carter?
CC wants to go by.
Oh, here it is. Oh my God, breaking! I finally broke something. No, that's not it.
But no, anyway, and Brad Boxberger also didn't make the opening day pen either. But I think he also re-signed a minor league deal. So those guys
he did
at AAA is kind of depth. Also, Justin Topa, I believe, is starting the year on the IL, and also Derek Fisher, who we acquired over the offseason too from the Blue Jays, outfielder, who is probably going to end up being possibly in running for a fifth outfielder spot, will also start on the IL. And so what that means, some of the guys that were on the fringes that did make the team then on the offensive side, it looked like we're probably going to carry an opening day 14 hitters, 12 pitchers, I believe. And that's and Vogelback did make the rosters, surprisingly to me. And also Billy McKinney also made it as basically our fifth outfielder.
This screams of David Stearns, keeping guys in the organizational fold. I have no idea what him and Craig Counsell told guys like Jordan Zimmerman, but it's funny that guys are willing to essentially forego some of the clauses that they had in their contracts when they initially signed with the Brewers, get released, and then just quickly re-sign again with the Milwaukee organization, stay in the fold in AAA. With Milwaukee. So pretty exciting that we're going to have this kind of depth, I think.
Yeah. And a lot of those guys are, I think that they probably knew that there wasn't too much interest from other clubs at this point of spring training. I mean, they could have had a chance, but they must have been told something good from the front office of the Brewers to say, like, if you stick around AAA, if you'll be up for a sign of trouble or injury or whatnot. And so that depth is always nice. So it's a good thing that those guys did resign, because you'd like to have some veterans like that to be able to call upon. With that being said, obviously there's some questions whether or not those guys are kind of nearing the end of their career, especially Zimmerman. But being a Wisconsin native, it's kind of cool to still have them in our system. So that's awesome.
Craig, you would also be only the fifth guy ever to play for the Brewers with the last name of Z.
Oh yeah.
Scott, can you name the other guys? Scott?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Can you name the four guys with the letter Z to play for the Brewers?
Letter Z.
Craig.
I don't know.
Okay, Craig.
Nope.
Guys, we interviewed one of them, Pete Zoccalillo.
Oh, Tim Dillard.
That guy.
Damn it, Scott. No, guys, quick. Greg Zaun, Mike Zagurski, and Eddie Zowski. All right, go ahead.
Wow.
very memorable. But
I can't believe I forgot all of them.
was there any kind of surprises for you guys as far as like the final roster and who made it, who didn't, type of thing?
I was a little surprised Eric Lauer didn't make it. I mean, if we traded for him, the trade so far hasn't really gone in our favor, I guess you could say. But, the jury's still out on that. But I somehow expected that he'd have
But he couldn't get any
more of a shot.
though, so that was one of the requirements.
Well, I mean, that is one of the unfortunate things with, but I mean, somebody told me that spring training doesn't really matter. So maybe he was just working on something. I don't know.
Yeah, but
I'd like to think that.
He definitely is.
Wait, Scott, was that me who said that?
I think so. Like earlier in the podcast, I was trying to do a callback, but maybe it was too vague.
No, I definitely said that. Yeah, I don't think it does.
Oh. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I expected that he was going to make it. Going like before the start of spring training, I thought, yeah, he'll make it, and it didn't happen. So.
Well, I think that he has options. So sending him to AAA, I think, was obviously an actual option because he can get regular starts there and a little bit lower pressure and kind of get himself on track. But I think he's definitely there for depth and probably ahead on the depth chart of Jordan Zimmerman or whatnot, depending on how he's doing, obviously. But to me, Dan Vogelback was the one that I really was like, okay, well, this guy is basically a DH, left-handed hitter, knows how to get on base. But, I mean, he only had like 67 at-bats as a Brewer in 2020, and he obviously did pretty well. But, I mean, beyond that, he was pretty bad wherever he was outside of a few years ago for the Mariners. So I was a little bit surprised that he made this team when I don't see how he, how he can really have a path to at-bats. I mean, how many interleague games do we have where we need a DH? Because obviously with Hira at first base, he wouldn't get more than a couple days off a month for Vogelback to get in there as a start. So, I mean, he's literally going to be like a bench off the bat. A bat off the bench, I should say. And to me, it was kind of surprising that he made the team, obviously without the DH. But
I don't know. I mean, he is a left-handed power threat off the bench. I think that's a really valuable tool for Craig Counsell to have. I don't think he's going to get a ton of starts. I will say that, but I do think he's going to find his way to, getting into many games, at least in that role off the bench. He was an all-star in 2019, Craig. I mean, just to throw that out there, I know you mentioned his time in Seattle, but, he had an awful second half in 2019, but he still was an all-star that season because of a great first half. So I think Miller Park American Family Field is a great place for him in many ways, and that kind of came true last year in his limited time in Milwaukee, and we'll see how long it lasts too. But I think that he could be a really good left-handed bat off the bench.
Yeah, why not? Take a flyer, see what happens. I mean, we did last year; it worked out, but I don't know. I mean, it's hard to put that much, I guess, in a roster spot. But when you only carry 12 people in the pen because you're constantly kind of turning the back of that rotation or back of that bullpen with with fresh arms the way we kind of do. That's why we gather, pitchers with options. But yeah.
I mean, outside of Vogelbach and Garcia, who else has power off the bench, really? Again, I think that you want that late inning threat. I
think he'll be valuable in that divine role. I just don't know how many at bats he will get overall, and like I said, very few starts probably. But yeah, definitely. I mean, he was hitting in the middle of our lineup, and now he's just like a bat off the bench. He doesn't seem like this front office.
Guys, Ryan Healy hit cleanup in a playoff game. Come on.
That this type of front office usually values flexibility, and he's like the opposite of flexible. But I mean, obviously he can play some first base, so hopefully he gets in there for some starts because I think, like you said, his bat is pretty potent, and hopefully he can excel in a pinch hitting role. So, all right, well, on our next podcast, we're going to be doing our season predictions. So hopefully you guys can tune in for that here right before we kick off the season in a couple days. So I think that'll just about wrap it up for this one. As I don't know if you guys have anything to add or throw out our Twitter handle.
Oh yeah, at Brew Review 1. Yeah, that's us. Definitely hit us up on Twitter. Don't look anywhere else. If you like this podcast, please tell a friend because, man, we have a lot of great content. Let me tell you. I was just saying the other day, I was telling somebody to listen to our podcast, and they were like, okay, but I don't even like baseball, and I'm not from Milwaukee, and I don't know who the Brewers are. I'm like, well, listen to it anyway. And they're like, it was passable. So if you're looking for a passable podcast, tell a friend.
Yeah. It's definitely
That's nice.
Oh.
You can also email us at brewcrewreviewpodcasts with an S at gmail.com. Scott answers those on a daily basis. And check out our Facebook page as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
But not Facebook.
Stay classy, Wisconsin.
Go Brewers.
Go Brewers.
Do, 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 do.